Hello, this is the Power RN coming to you live from Power in Nursing. So, really, I wonder who turned off the lights? What? Who turned off the lights? This is your guided tour to power and purpose in your nursing profession and how to prevent and overcome burnout is one of the most important things that we can share. We know that burnout is a very, very, very toxic stressor for anyone's profession. So it's not just nurses that suffer burnout, physicians, other folks in other professions, even businesses, have suffered from burnout. But we're going to just talk about it a little bit today and find out how to turn on those lights because we know it's darkest just before dawn. As you are suffering, don't let this be your last dawn. Don't let them hold back your power. It's yours. It's yours alone. It's yours alone. Only you are you, and only you can be you. So you have to find your purpose, and your purpose and your passion is engaged in your power. So reach out to yourself. Nobody, nobody can take it away from you. Nobody. Only you can shut it down. Don't do it. Don't hide it. Don't stay in the dark. I know, I know, I get it. You all can say, but it's hard. It's hard and it's scary here in the dark, but I'm starting to feel a little bit more comfortable about not doing all I can and not saying things loudly and not engaging any additional strategies or education or connections or relationships in order to get out of this hole. I'm just tired and I'm just going to sit here. Don't, 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 don't do it. I know you might think you can't do it, but make sure you find help and that you are engaged in a community that supports you because there's going to be someone that you need in your circle to help you turn on that light. I can tell you a story. A colleague of mine, she worked so hard to go up the ladder as a nurse. She became a charge nurse, and then she became a director, and then she became a big, big job that she always wanted, director of nursing in an organization. Now she's a nurse executive. She really said, oh, I got it now. She had gotten her degree, her doctorate, and was a nurse practitioner, mental health nurse practitioner. But she decided to turn that again into her job that she always wanted. Nurse executive was offered to her and she took it. And then the pandemic came. Now, the first of the last year, January was good for her. February started some changes. And by April, she just couldn't take it anymore. The staffing was terrible. The supplies were terrible. The guidance was terrible. And she was alone as the nurse executive in this big metropolitan hospital. And she said, no, Everyone's coming my way. I don't have any answers, and I don't have any power. She decided to try to tough it out at first. And by June, she just said, I can't do this anymore. My staff is dwindling, and I don't have any information to even share with my staff to help them be engaged in the strategy to move this all forward. Because part of the story was, oh, this will be gone soon. Well, that wasn't the story. So she just could not take it anymore. The higher ups were asking her what was going on, why there weren't enough nurses, why there weren't enough supplies, why they can't get more patients out of the ER quicker, what is going on. And day after day after day, and hour after hour, and the days became longer and the hours became longer. And she said she couldn't do it. But she decided that she did have some supplies in her luggage. We all nurses, we always carry luggage, and it's a snow emergency story. But in her luggage, she had her degree already as a nurse practitioner. And she decided that her love, which really was the mental health aspect of healthcare, was something that was in her luggage as well. And though she wrestled, she finally decided she had to leave. But what she would do to support the community of patients and the community of nurses was to have a practice, psych and mental health nurse practitioner. So she opened her practice, and boom, she had patients right away. So she didn't lose any time really in getting her business started and making money. And she is still busy today. 6 months plus later, she is still busy today and as happy as can be. She gave it a shot to be the nurse executive, but she really decided and found that her choice to become a sole practitioner was the best thing that ever happened to her. So sometimes something else has to come your way in order to get you from that dark, that burnout, that pandemic disaster to the light. And sometimes we don't know that, but we'll find out along the way. And that brings me to my own story, just as true as hers. So we're going to turn on the lights because it's time to wake up. Time to wake up. So long ago, I wanted to be a nurse or a teacher. And by and by, I'm gathering information even from elementary school. Well, which one do I want to do? And as time passed a little bit, I really got connected and stuck on Julia on TV. So she was a nurse, and I thought, oh, great, that's going to be wonderful. I didn't really know anything about nursing, but she looked good, and I said, "Oh, that's going to be wonderful." So as life progressed, I went to college and I got my bachelor's degree, and I started working at a children's hospital in a metropolitan area, and I loved the pediatric population and the children. But I thought my other love is still teaching. So I became a clinical educator, and then I wanted to continue learning, and learning. So I went back for my master's degree in nursing, and I also decided I love reading, I love writing. I'm going to do some policies and procedures, and that's one thing that struck me so hard. I love that reading, writing, and I started writing policies and procedures. And then, by the way, a friend asked me to help one of her colleagues who was opening their own business. And she said, well, she needs somebody to help her write policies and procedures because she's struggling. And I told her, oh, I know my friend Sharon. She's really smart. She can help you. And I said, well, I'll try it. I'll give it a shot. And I did that. And then I was stuck. I was stuck on an independent practice that really served to help me help other people. Again, that's what we do. We're helping other people. So I decided after helping this young lady, I will continue to move forward and I would be a healthcare consultant. So I started my own business, and that was what I did for several years. I worked helping people start their own businesses and helping them get their policy and procedure manuals. And then I started helping them with human resources. And then I started helping them with JCO certifications. And it was great. It was great. It was great for a number of years. And I said, well, I'll just be doing that part time. Well, the money is actually pretty good. I only really need to do it part time. So then I got another client. And then I said, well, I'm going to only do part time, I'm going to work 4 hours on this day and, only 4 days a week. And as I became more requested to help people, not on the front side of their business, but as I call it, on the dark side, uh, I worked more. And I worked more hours as they were called by the accreditors to help to fix their survey responses. And that is a huge job. But just like making a cake, it's almost all the same. But you have to have the ingredients and you have to have the light. The light. And so I had the ingredients and I worked more hours and more hours. And really, by the end of probably my fourth plus year of doing that, I became ill because I kept working, 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 because people said, well, I just have this and I just have that. And I know you're working part time, but can you do it just this one time? And I was like, oh, no, oh, no. Oh, but they're going to really need someone because they're going to get, they're going to get dinged, and then the community's not going to have their business, and, they're doing home health care, and I'll just do it this time. And that got me. And that got me, and I became ill. And so that light was dark as ever. And I thought, but I'm not really sick, because I just don't feel good this time, right now, this time. But I'll be okay. Because we can always fix ourselves, right? We can always fix ourselves. And I couldn't. And I didn't fix myself. So I wound up in the hospital. And my point to you is, yeah, that was the dark. And I had to find someone to help me turn on the light. Turn on the light, guys. Don't stay in the dark. Don't stay there saying, well, I'm going to be okay and it's going to be all fine soon. Ask for help. Ask a friend to help you. Don't stay there in the dark. Sometimes even you, need help. So get yourself some help. It's like the nursing process and the nursing care plans. What do we have to do? We have to recognize the problem. And if you're in the dark, you might not recognize it. So get some help with that, because you can't reach the light right now. Recognize the problem. Then you'll have to find your problem. The problem could be stress and anxiety, lack of physical preparation. You're not eating right, you're not sleeping right. You've got to recognize those things. And that's number one. Number two, find your purpose. Now remember, we talked about your passion, the things you love to do. Your purpose is to get things done, but your purpose is not to perish. So make sure that you're finding your purpose and that you are still taking care of yourself. So you've got to do that. You've got to identify that problem. And now the light's still out. You have to know. Now the light is out. What is that? How do you identify it? That's the burnout. That's the burnout. It is the dark. But what comes after that dark is the dawn. You find your help. You find your help, whether it's a friend or whether it's a breakthrough. You find your help to turn on that light. You can still live. So live on and do things in a presence of connecting all those dots to your power. Your power is there, but it is not limitless. Get help in finding that power so that you can reach that light and you can get back your health and your strength and your direction and find your way to live your best life. Now, you know we're hard-headed, so sometimes we have to go through those things, but it opens the door to your power and moving forward for me, for God's plan. My plan was to be a nurse executive my own self, and I told you my friend's story. And though I got sick and I got derailed from that plan, the other plan was to keep sharing nursing strategies, strengths, the love of nursing with my colleagues, coaching and speaking, motivating nurses to live and find their best lives as nurses. It's okay. You can be derailed to a point, but don't get off the tracks and stay there in the dark. So, what are we going to do? We're going to deal with our stressors. You have to see that something is wrong, number one. Number two, identify what is wrong and then make a choice to fix it, prevent that burnout, or overcome it. You're going to need help. And don't be afraid to ask for help, because at the end of your struggle will be the door to your best life. I am telling you, it is my own story and my own pleasure to share my story with you. Find your way out of the dark. Come out of the dark. Don't let burnout keep you in the dark. Turn on the light to live your best life. Again, I did it, so I know you can. Come on, come on. If you have questions or you want to know more about the story, come on down. You can find me always at the Power RN on Facebook. I'm there every day. And you can go to Power in Nursing website and leave comments or send me a message. I really, really, really encourage you, especially in the time of this pandemic, to honor yourself. You can't work yourself to the place where the governor of Florida. Remember my little story about that? Just says, oh yeah, just get another nurse and she can just do it. Nurses are dying too. We have to be smarter and find that we need to care for our own selves. So come on out of that burnout. Come back from the dark. I'll see you soon. Remember the steps to getting yourself out of burnout and turn on the light. Thanks. I'll see you guys soon. My kings and queens, take care.